Following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangi coming to you with the final part of the review of the Transformers Generations Selects Seacons Combiner Decepticon Piranacon, or King Poseidon as Takara Tomy named him. So in the previous two reviews we looked at Tentakill and Overbite, who are the only Seacons who have the honor of having the exact same name in both the United States and in Japan. Takara Tomy decided to name this figure King Poseidon to show how much of a threat he is by giving him the word king and the name of the Greek god of the sea, Poseidon, in his name. Hasbro decided to give the Seacon Combiner what they thought was a more menacing name by calling him Piranacon when he was released here in the United States. So yes, if for those of you wondering why you might hear fans and collectors calling this guy by two different names, that's because this combiner does have two different names. So I've already got all of the Seacons transformed into the official modes that they're supposed to be in, and one thing I wanted to wait to get to talk about here with Piranacon is that despite Piranacon was the last combiner released in the Generation 1 line who was known as a Scramble City Gestalt combiner, and basically it's a Transformers figure where you have a combiner made from a torso bot that acts as the team leader, and then you have four smaller limb bots that form arms and legs. But the way the limb bots were designed in the Generation 1 line, and this is true here with the modern day Generations Selects Seacons, who are retools of the Power of the Primes combiners of Snaptrap's a retool of Hunger. Three of the Seacons, Nautilator, Scalar, and Overbite, are retools of Power of the Primes Ripper Snapper, and Tentakill's a retool of Power of the Primes Moonracer, and then Sea-Wing is a retool of Power of the Primes Dinobot Swoop. And just like on the Generation 1 figures, the Prime Wars Trilogy combiners, despite the main gimmick of them, they're known as the reason why they're known as Scramble City Gestalt is because they were designed to have a gimmick where the limb bots could form any limb for any combiner whatsoever. But from the product photos I have seen and footage of the Transformers Super God Master Force cartoon, which is the only cartoon the Seacons have appeared in, just like the other Generation 1 combiners, the Seacons, rather than possessing the Scramble City combiner gimmick, Piranacon transforms the exact same way as the combiners, where the limb bots always transform into the exact same limb, just like the non-Scramble City combiners such as Devastator and Predaking. So I just wanted to point that out with you guys. So we will, when we get the Seacons combined, we will into Piranacon. I will have them in the official configuration, but before we combine the Seacons into Piranacon, the first thing we have to do is take all of the sword weapons that the Seacons come with, and you combine them into Piranacon's main weapon of a Trident. So you take the you start off with the sword that was given to that comes with Snaptrap, and then you take the two dagger swords that come with Scalar and Overbite, and you combine them here on the top, like so. Well, and they wrap over the top of the sword that comes with Snaptrap. Of course, these don't want to combine properly while I'm trying to show it off on camera. So you take them and combine them like so. Then you take the two curved blade weapons that came with Sea-Wing and also with Tentakill. And then you combine them like this. And there is the top of the Trident, and then the last piece to connect is the axe weapon that comes with Nautilator. You plug it here on the bottom, and it forms the base of Piranacon's Trident weapon. So yes, here is one of Piranacon's main weapons, the other main weapon, of course, being Overbite, who transforms into a Target Master. The Trident itself is pretty menacing looking, and it is easy to disassemble if you decide to take the Seacons out of their combined form. But overall, it is pretty impressive looking. The main gripe is not with the Trident itself, but when you put it into Piranacon's hands, I'll show it off right now before we actually get the Seacons combined. Unfortunately, The tab that keeps the thumb attached to the hand like there, it's not a strong tab, and so it can pull down, and this is also true with any weapon that Piranacon tries to hold on to. The dedicated combiner fists, the joint that keeps the thumb attached to it, it can go at a moment's notice, so the Trident itself is slightly too heavy for the thumb on Piranacon's hand to hold it in place, so that's just a minor nitpick, but it's just something to be aware of, that if you're hoping to get Piranacon to hold his Trident weapon without it falling over to the side or place, good luck trying to figure out how to do that, because the joint in the thumb isn't strong enough to support the weight of the whole Trident itself. And for those of you wondering, the Trident pieces themselves are color-coded, so you will not accidentally give the Seacons different weapons than what they came with. You can see it here on the handles from them all, so it's easy to remember that the axe comes with Nautilator, and that the main sword that forms the main blade, the staff of the Trident, comes with Snaptrap. But for the blade pieces themselves, just remember the 5mm for the two dagger weapons that form the center blade of the Trident. The one that has the turquoise 5mm peg, that goes with Overbite. And then the one that comes with the blue 5mm peg goes with Scalar. And then for the outer blades of the Trident weapon, the one that comes with the white 5mm port goes to Tentakill, and the black one goes to Sea-Wing. So that's an easy way to remember which weapons go with which Seacons when you disassemble the Trident. So yeah, it's a nice color coding enough that you can remember which weapons go with which Seacons when you take the Trident apart. But they also don't take away from the fact that the Trident is a solid single weapon for Piranacon to use. So, without further delay, let's get down to what this review is about, which is Piranacon itself. So, of course, Snaptrap transforms into the torso of Piranacon, and then Tentakill forms the left side leg, and then you have Scalar, who transforms into the right side leg, and I forgot to take these laser guns out of Scalar, so pause the video for a second while I fix that. Alright, got that out of the way. You could have left those laser guns there if you wanted to, just to give more firepower in Piranacon's feet. And then getting Sea-Wing attached here. Sea-Wing forms the left side arm of Piranacon. And then bring in Nautilator. He forms the right side arm. So there is Overbite with his arm. There is Overbite. This is Piranacon with all of his arms and legs attached into the official configuration. The Seacons are pretty impressive looking, and I love how they have the turquoise or aqua blue color scheme as the main paint job for them. Sea-Wing and Nautilator are color-coded as the arms, since they're mostly turquoise and black. And then, of course, Scalar and Tentakill are color-coded since they have pink and white highlights more so than the other Seacons do. So the limbs on Piranacon in the official configuration, they're color-coded to match each other. But if you wanted to mix and match them, you could swap them out with each other. And then the last of the Seacons is Overbite, who forms a target master. And so what you have to do is remove this cap off the combiner arm like this, and then you take the combiner peg on Overbite and you insert it into the arm like so. It will be easier if I do it if I insert it off camera. I will be back in 1 second. Alright, and here is what this multi-part review has been leading up to. Here we have Piranacon in his official combined mode. So yes, this is the combined form of the 6 Seacons. And yes, Piranacon is a very impressive looking combiner. He's very intimidating, especially having a 6th teammate, which is Overbite, transforming into a target master that he can use. The main letdown here is that even with Overbite attached, I'm sorry, started talking before I was ready to say the proper words to think about it. Despite the Target Master gimmick with Overbite here transforming into a laser gun, this is the main problem, is the word I was looking for, that Piranacon has, is that the same elbow joint that the other Prime Wars trilogy combiners from the Combiner Wars and Power of the Primes line have. Piranacon has the exact same elbow joint, which is actually the two knees and thighs of the robot ode of the armbot. So the weight of Nautilator and the lower half of Piranacon's arm, it's dependent on Nautilator's hip joints to keep it all up in the air, and so unfortunately it is definitely too much weight, and so there is no way for Piranacon to keep his arm held up in place, so that is a little bit of a letdown there in that regard. Alright, and the same thing is true with the Trident Weapon. If you try to mess around with it too much, again, as I said a moment ago, the thumb can't support the weight of the Trident, so it will go off right away. And so, out of all the combiners, Piranacon is one of the one who is the most floppity in the joints, since none of them are really tight or cohesive looking. But yes, there is no doubt that despite having weak joints, Piranacon is an armored up and ready for battle Decepticon combiner. Now, taking Sea-Wing's laser guns, I had them attached to him since having the laser guns attached on top of Sea-Wing's shoulder, it makes the shoulders look similar in shape to each other. But one thing that is, as far as I can tell from the photos I've seen and everything else I've seen, one thing that is omitted from Piranacon is, and I showed this off when I first got him a couple of weeks ago, there is no official combine mode for the different laser guns that the Seacons all come packaged with. And you're basically left to decide on your own how you want to combine these. So if Overbite, Ite's Target Master mode, and the Trident Weapon aren't enough firepower to your liking for Piranacon to have, you can combine the different laser guns of the different Seacons together, and you can attach them to each other if you're inclined to do so. So there's a laser gun. Here's just a mashed up combination of all the different laser guns, and if you want to, you can plug it onto the same hand, and that's holding the Trident Weapon. So Piranacon also now has a laser gun attached to this arm as well. Again, there's no official images of all the laser guns combined together, so that's just left open to your own interpretation of what you think that would look like. But yeah, overall, Piranacon does have a lot of firepower, even if his arms don't have the strength to hold them all up. So there is no doubt that Piranacon is a combiner figure that you do not want to mess around with. The only parts that are left off of Piranacon are the combiner hand that comes with Overbite, and then the cap for the hand that it attaches to on Nautilator. But there are some places, I'm sure, where you can figure out where to put those as well. Thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFan Geek. This is my review of the latest combiner transformer that I've added to my collection, Decepticon Piranacon. And I saved this until the end of the review to say I some of you are probably asking, how much did I spend on Piranacon, adding him to my collection? And you guys might think this is a shocking amount, but considering the amount of money that Piranacon goes for brand new in the box, this copy was used. I got it out of the box before I forget to show it off. Here's all 6 of the instruction sheets that the Seacons come with. The laser gun weapon just fell off, but I'll leave it off for now. But yeah, the amount of money I spent on Piranacon, adding him to my Transformers collection, was $500. Piranacon now holds the title of being the most expensive Decepticon I've added to my Transformers collection, and he is the second most expensive Transformers figure overall that I've added to my collection, the first being Titan Class Metroplex, who I purchased earlier this year. So thank you guys all so much for watching. This has been the TFangy. This has been my review on the Takara Tomy exclusive Transformers Generations Selects Prime Wars Trilogy Combiner Wars / Power of the Primes Decepticon Combiner of Piranacon. If you have the money to buy Piranacon, I do recommend getting him, but unfortunately, if you think that the Seacons are far too expensive, or if they're out of your budget, then because of the flaws I've mentioned with the loose joints, not being able to hold up his weapons or even hold up his arms when the weapons are attached, the amount of pros that Piranacon has going for him are outnumbered by the number of drawbacks and flaws that he has. So he can be an easy path as for some collectors. But thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFan Geek, and until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching this multi-part review of Transformers Generations Selects Piranacon. I was hoping that maybe Hasbro might announce that there would be a official Hasbro release of the Seacons in the Legacy line, but from what I've seen so far, Hasbro and Takara Tomy are both done with Combiner Transformers, or at least they have no interest in the Seacons. At least I take back what I just said, because we're getting Menasor in the Legacy line, but it appears that the more popular and more well-known combiners are getting figures in the Legacy line. And who knows if we'll get who the next combiner being released after Legacy Menasor will be, but I do hope that you'll get a decent figure of Piranacon that has better joints that allow him to hold his weapons and his arms upright in combined mode. So thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFan Geek, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.